What you tell yourself in the first 10 seconds of the morning becomes the story you live for the rest of the day. Buddhist wisdom reminds us, what you water grows. What are you choosing to water with your words today? Imagine your words are a compass. What morning phrase keeps you moving in the right direction? If your morning words were the opening lines of your life's next chapter, what would they be? From the moment your eyes open, your thoughts become the lens through which you see life. And for too many people, that lens is already cracked. Cracked with self-doubt, cracked with pressure, cracked with yesterday's regrets. Before you've even brushed your teeth, the battle has already begun. Not in the world, but in your own mind. And here's the truth. No enemy outside you is more dangerous than the voice you've let run wild inside you. This isn't just another feel-good video. This is your spiritual reset button. A toolkit of Buddhist wisdom designed to quiet the mental noise, stop the spiral of overthinking, and rewire the story you wake up believing every day. Ever wondered why some mornings feel like peace and others like war? You're about to find out. These 12 teachings don't just sound inspiring. They reshape your identity, upgrade your inner dialogue, and rewrite the pattern you've been stuck in for far too long. But here's a warning. One of these will challenge everything you think you know about strength. And at the end, there's a bonus insight. Something monks whisper to themselves before the sun rises. Miss that, and you'll miss the most sacred part. If your first words in the morning shaped your entire day like seeds shaping a garden, what powerful sentence would you choose to plant tomorrow? Drop your morning mantra in the comments. Your words might inspire someone else's new beginning. Now let's begin. Lesson 1. Today is a sacred beginning. Your words have power. What's one affirmation you're ready to repeat until it becomes your truth? This isn't just a new day. It's not a checkbox on your calendar. It's a sacred moment, disguised as ordinary. But most of us miss it. We open our eyes, grab our phones, drown in notifications, and sprint into a to-do list that starts before we've even said hello to ourselves. But stop, just for a second. Ask yourself, why do I start the day like it's a crisis, not a ceremony? The Buddha said, each morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters most. This isn't just a quote, it's a compass. It means that no matter how chaotic yesterday was, today is your spiritual clean slate. But here's the tragedy. Most people don't live new days. They live old habits and old emotions in a new costume. They repeat the past and call it life. Imagine a monk sweeping the temple courtyard at sunrise. He's not just cleaning, he's preparing a sacred space. That's what your thoughts do. They prepare the space your mind will live in today. Begin with anxiety, and the day stumbles. Begin with presence, and the soul moves with grace. So before anything else, whisper to yourself, I am here. Let that be your vow. Not, I have to do everything, but I will be fully present for whatever I do. Because most of us aren't tired, we're carrying yesterday on our backs. Arguments, regrets, guilt. All of it gets dragged into a day that hasn't even judged us yet. That's not living, that's emotional debt. So ask yourself now, what am I still carrying that I was never meant to bring into today? What if you didn't fight it, didn't fix it, just let it go? How would that feel? Lighter, clearer, more alive. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a conscious start. And a single phrase can unlock that. Today is a sacred beginning. Say it. Not like a checklist, but like a prayer. Let it be your morning ritual, and watch how your life slowly starts to revolve around it. Don't just wake up, awaken. Don't just move, be moved. Don't just survive the day, honor it. Because when you do, you become something rare, not just productive, but present. And in a world full of noise, presence is the loudest form of power. So here's your invitation. Write down this phrase, whisper it. Breathe it in like it's the first oxygen of a new life. Today is a sacred beginning. Let that be your compass. Let it align everything, your energy, your choices, your focus. Before the world demands your attention, give your attention to the one truth that matters most. You are alive. You are here. You are beginning again. Because the words you whisper to yourself at dawn become the world you walk through by dusk. Lesson 2. I am capable of amazing things, even if I don't feel it yet. If someone told you there's a warrior inside you, would you believe them? Not the kind that wears armor, but the kind that moves through pain with grace, wrapped in silence, carrying fire in the heart and resilience in the spine. Too often we confuse doubt with truth. We think, I don't feel strong, so I must not be. But Buddhist wisdom whispers otherwise. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Here's what that means. You don't need to feel capable to start. You only need to start to become capable. There are mornings when your reflection looks more like exhaustion than possibility. Days when life feels like a weight, not a journey. And in those moments, it's easy to shrink, to tell yourself small stories of limitation. But remember this, your potential doesn't disappear because you're tired. Your strength doesn't vanish when your emotions cloud the sky. Like a mountain hidden in morning mist, your power is still there, towering, waiting, silent. Clouds don't erase the peak, and emotions don't erase your strength. You're stronger than you know, not because fear is absent, but because you're still willing to move forward in its presence. Take a deep breath, stand tall, say it aloud. I trust the strength within me, not because you've proven it to the world, but because it exists, quietly, patiently, waiting for you to remember. Every masterpiece began in doubt. Every brave soul once hesitated. You're not behind. You're standing on the edge of something massive. One step, one small action, one brave decision. That's all it takes to shift the path beneath your feet. So ask yourself, what action can I take today that my future self will thank me for? Maybe it's speaking up, even if your voice shakes. Maybe it's applying for the opportunity, even if you're afraid. Maybe it's simply getting out of bed with intention, not autopilot. Progress doesn't come from heroic leaps. It's born from whispered commitments. I'll try. I'll keep going. I won't give up. Too many people wait for confidence to arrive before they act. But confidence isn't the beginning. It's the result. It grows when you take action in uncertainty. You don't need to feel like a warrior to walk like one. You just need to trust that one lives inside you, even if today they're quiet. Your mind is not a mirror of who you are. It's a tool for who you can become. When you feed it doubt, it shrinks your world. When you feed it faith, it expands your destiny. So tomorrow morning, and every morning after, whisper this to yourself. I am capable of amazing things, even if I don't feel it yet. Let it be your shield. Let it be your sacred vow. Let it become your morning truth. Because one day you'll look back at this exact moment, the fog, the fear, the quiet ache of becoming, and realize it wasn't weakness. It was the beginning of your strength. The mountain didn't move. You just learned how to climb. Lesson 3. I am in control of my thoughts. They are not in control of me. If your inner voice set the tone for someone else's day, would it bring them peace or pressure? What would you change? The Buddha once said, "Rule your mind, or it will rule you." And he was right. We often point fingers at the world, blaming stress, chaos, and fear on our jobs, relationships, or circumstances. But the real storm? It brews inside us. An untrained mind is like a wildfire. It consumes everything in its path. But a calm mind? That's a sanctuary. That's your shelter. That's peace in the middle of the storm. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your thoughts were dragging you across the day like waves crashing against the shore? That's what happens when your mind becomes your master. But here's the shift. You were always meant to be the rider, not the one being dragged. Your mind is like a candle in the wind. Leave it exposed and the flame flickers or dies. But cup your hands around it. Protect it with presence. And that same flame becomes a light that guides you, not one that blinds you. This is the power of mindfulness. It's not about silencing your thoughts. It's about seeing them clearly and choosing which ones deserve your attention. Try it now. Notice a single negative thought. Don't fight it. Don't fear it. Just smile at it like a cloud passing through the sky and let it drift. This simple act, awareness instead of reaction, is where your power begins. You do not need to believe every story your mind tells. You do not have to answer every thought that knocks on your door. Ask yourself, what thought have I allowed to control my life for too long? Maybe it's, I'm not good enough. I'm falling behind. Things will never change. But here's the truth. Those thoughts aren't facts. They're just habits. And habits can be broken. Every morning you are offered a choice. Ride your thoughts, or be ridden by them. So say this to yourself. I am in control of my thoughts. They are not in control of me. This is not denial. This is discipline. It's not resistance. It's redirection. The more you train your mind, the more peace you will carry. Not because the world is finally quiet, but because you are. The goal isn't silence. The goal is clarity. And the greatest freedom is not found in escaping the world, but in escaping the prison of your own mind. So remember, train the mind, and everything else begins to follow. Because the moment you realize you are the rider, life starts to move in your direction. Lesson 4. I deserve peace, happiness, and success because I exist. What if you stopped treating self-worth as a reward and started remembering it as your birthright? What if love didn't have to be earned, but simply recognized? Most people wake up every day already feeling behind, already not enough, as if happiness is a finish line and peace is something you only get after everything's perfect. But Buddhist wisdom cuts through that illusion. It reminds us, you, yourself, as much as anyone in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Read that again. Let it land. You are already enough. Not because of your job, not because of your body, not because of how productive you are, but because you exist. You were not born to prove your worth. You were born as it. But the world teaches us differently. It teaches us to perform, to perfect, to please, until we collapse under the weight of impossible standards. That's not self-love. That's self-survival. So take a deep breath. Place your hand gently on your heart and say this: I deserve to be happy today. Not tomorrow, not when you've earned it. Today, right now. Don't wait for a perfect relationship, a perfect body, or a perfect day. Because peace doesn't arrive. It's already waiting for you to choose it. Even the moon, when hidden behind clouds, doesn't lose its light. And your worth, like that moon, never disappears. It only hides behind the clouds of your mind. Ask yourself, what stories make me feel unworthy? Am I ready to let them go? Because buried beneath the noise of self-doubt, beneath the layers of old expectations, is something unshakable. You, whole, enough, worthy, just as you are. So repeat it. I deserve peace, happiness, and success because I exist. Let that be your spiritual foundation, not something you build, but something you remember. I deserve peace, happiness, and success because I exist. Maybe the voice you've been listening to says you're too broken, too flawed, too late. Maybe you were raised to believe that value must be earned, that your worth depends on how much you achieve or how many people approve of you. But hear this now. Those are not truths. They are echoes of old pain, and pain is not who you are. It's just a place you passed through, not where you're meant to stay. Every morning you are given a quiet, beautiful choice to write a new story, to say, I am worthy, not because of what I do, but because of who I am. Let that truth shape how you speak to yourself. Let it soften your inner dialogue. Let it rebuild how you stand in your own presence. Because when you truly believe you deserve peace, you stop accepting chaos as normal. When you believe you deserve happiness, you stop shrinking to fit the comfort of misery. When you believe you deserve success, you stop running from opportunities because you're scared you'll fail. You don't need to earn your worth. You only need to recognize it. The sun doesn't ask for permission to rise. The tree doesn't apologize for growing. And you do not need to justify your existence to anyone, not even yourself. So begin here. Speak with intention. Speak with tenderness. Say this to yourself. I deserve peace. I deserve happiness. I deserve success because I am here, and that is enough. Let those words become your inner sanctuary, because one day you'll look back and realize you were never too broken, never too late. You were just waiting to return home to yourself. Lesson 5. I will take action, even if it's small. What's one kind sentence you wish you had heard every morning growing up? Can you say it to yourself now? Can the smallest action really change your entire momentum? We often wait for clarity, wait for confidence, wait for the perfect plan, the right timing, the guaranteed outcome. And in all that waiting, life quietly slips past us. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Not a bold leap, not a flawless strategy, just one small, honest step forward. That's where transformation begins, not in noise, not in intensity, but in the whisper that says, begin now. Too many people confuse clarity with readiness. They think, I need to figure everything out first. But clarity doesn't come before action. It's born from it. Imagine this. A stone that never moves gathers dust, but a single pebble dropped into still water creates ripples that stretch further than we ever see. That ripple is you. That first step? It doesn't need to be perfect. It only needs to be real. Ask yourself gently, what am I postponing that my peace depends on? Maybe it's a conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's starting a small habit. Maybe it's choosing rest instead of guilt. Whatever it is, it's costing you energy, and the longer you wait, the heavier it becomes. So today, take one small step, something gentle. Drink a glass of water with presence. Clean one drawer. Go for a 5-minute walk. Send the message. Say what's on your heart. Place your hand on your chest and whisper, I begin now. Let this be your quiet revolution, not a sprint, but a steady sacred rhythm of showing up, not for perfection, but for truth. Progress doesn't shout. It whispers, I'll try. I'll keep going. I'm not giving up. People think motivation fuels action, but it's often the other way around. Action fuels motivation, and every step creates momentum. That's how discipline is born. Not through pressure, but through presence. So remember, you don't need to feel brave. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to say, I will no longer let inaction define me. Because every time you choose movement over fear, you reclaim a little more of your power. So tomorrow morning, and every morning after, say this to yourself. I will take action, even if it's small. Let it be your compass. Let it be your promise. Let it be the beginning of everything new. Lesson 6. My morning words shape my entire day. Let's build a collective garden of peace. What's one seed you're planting with your words today? Because big change doesn't begin with a big action. It begins with a quiet shift in mindset. And once that shift happens, your entire life begins to move with it. You don't need a perfect plan, you just need a peaceful step. One drop begins a river. One step begins your return to yourself. And it often begins with your first words of the day. Ask yourself honestly, is your morning voice lifting you or quietly wounding you? The first words you speak, the first thoughts you think, the first whisper in your own mind at dawn. They are not just sounds, they are seeds. And what you plant in those early minutes will bloom through the rest of your day. Your morning words shape your entire day, not because they are magical, but because they give your mind direction. They tell your body how to feel, your heart what to expect, your energy where to go. Words are both seeds and swords. They can heal or they can harm, and the ones you speak to yourself are the most powerful of all. If you wake and say, I'm already tired, I'm already behind, this day will be hard, your body listens, your mood follows, your spirit contracts. But if you begin with something softer, even a whisper like, I am calm, I am here, this moment matters, the entire day shifts. Not because you forced it, but because you framed it. You don't need loud declarations. You need honest ones, words that align your spirit with peace, not pressure. Imagine incense in a quiet temple. It doesn't shout, but it fills the space. That's what your morning words are. They scent the air of your day, so light them wisely. They linger longer than you think. You may not control how the day unfolds, but you do control how it begins, and how it begins often decides how it ends. Try this tomorrow. As you sip your tea or sit in stillness, say something that asks nothing from you, but offers everything. Something like, I am here. I am enough. I choose peace. Not for the world to hear, but for your spirit to remember. Speak to yourself like someone you love, someone waking from a long, hard night, with gentleness, with truth. Ask yourself, what is the most peaceful sentence I can offer myself each morning? Let that be your mantra. Let it live on your mirror. Let it live in your breath. Too often we wake with urgency as our armor, rushing, checking, proving. But you don't need to conquer the morning. You need to receive it. Your words are the gatekeepers of that energy. So tomorrow, don't reach for your phone. Reach for your center. Speak something kind, something rooted, something that holds your day like soft hands around a trembling heart. Because your words aren't just echoes. They are instructions. They shape your posture, your focus, your presence. So lead yourself. Gently, powerfully, deliberately. Say this, My morning words shape my entire day. And then choose them, like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. Lesson 7. My mind believes what I tell it repeatedly. If your soul could speak before your thoughts rushed in, what would it whisper to you each morning? Could it be that your mind is working against you, not because it's broken, but because it's been trained by repetition, to fear, to shrink, to doubt? We rarely notice it, but it's always there, a quiet narrator in the background repeating the same stories. You're not ready. You're not good enough. What's the point? And with every silent replay, those thoughts etch deeper into your mind until they become beliefs, and those beliefs shape your reality. Here's the quiet truth. Your mind believes what you tell it repeatedly. This isn't just feel-good thinking. It's neuroscience. It's lived experience. The words you say to yourself, morning after morning, become the blueprint your mind uses to build your day. As you think, so shall you become. If your thoughts are rooted in limitation, your life will slowly begin to shape itself to fit that limitation. But the opposite is also true, and that is your power. We often see repetition as weakness, as if saying something again and again makes it less meaningful. But in Buddhist tradition, repetition is sacred. Mantras are not spoken to numb the mind, but to awaken it. Every repetition is like carving a path through the dense forest of doubt. And the more you walk it, the clearer it becomes. Your mind is not stubborn, it's obedient. It listens, it learns, it believes what you teach it, even when you don't realize you're teaching. So the real question is, what have you been teaching your mind, without even knowing? Think of your mind as fertile soil. It does not judge the seed. It simply grows what it's given. If you plant criticism, it grows insecurity. If you plant fear, it grows avoidance. But plant trust, and it grows confidence. Plant peace, and it grows stillness. That is the quiet miracle of thought. It takes root before you realize it, and by the time you do, it's already shaping your reality. So today, choose one phrase, not 10, not a list, just one. One sentence that feels like truth, like safety, like strength. Maybe, I am grounded in who I am, or I move through this day with quiet strength. Write it, say it aloud, 3 times, not to convince the world, but to remind yourself. Let that phrase echo louder than the old loops you've outgrown. Because repetition isn't weakness, it's reprogramming. Ask yourself, what quiet statement has been secretly shaping my identity? Maybe it's, I always mess up. I can't change. I'm not capable. These began as fears, but repetition turned them into beliefs, and beliefs shape behavior. The good news? You can rewrite the code. You can repeat a new truth. With patience, with kindness, until your mind builds a life around it. This isn't lying to yourself. It's feeding your soul the nourishment it has craved for years. Like water over stone, your repeated words begin to carve something deeper. New grooves of clarity, of focus, of self-trust. So tomorrow morning, don't leave your mind unguarded. Don't let it default to yesterday's script. Take the reins. Say something rooted. Say something true. Say it again and again and again, until your mind stops resisting and starts responding. Because what you say once can inspire, but what you say daily can transform. Speak wisely, rehearse truth, rewire your path. Lesson 8. Silence the inner critic before it speaks. Who speaks first in the morning, your soul or your critic? That quiet internal voice often awakens with you, even before your first conscious breath, and it whispers, You're already behind. You should have done more. You're not enough. That voice, it's not truth, it's habit. The echo of years of comparison, perfectionism, and unkindness. But here's the shift. Silence the inner critic before it speaks. Because peace does not begin with motivation. It begins with mercy. The Buddha said, "The tongue, like a sharp knife, can kill without drawing blood." And your inner voice? It is cut deeper than any insult the world has ever thrown at you. It doesn't just comment on your life. It shapes it. Your energy, your posture, your sense of self. But here's the part most people never learn. The critic only exists if you feed it. Like a ghost in the mirror. It seems real until you stop believing in it. And when you do, it fades. What replaces it is not silence. It's stillness, awareness, kindness. So here's a practice. Tomorrow morning, before your fingers reach for your phone, before the noise of the world enters your spirit, smile. Not a forced grin, but a soft, sacred gesture. A quiet signal that says, "I am allowed to be at ease." Then whisper to yourself, "You are safe here." Let that be your morning shield. That sentence holds the power to disarm judgment and invite compassion. Your soul is not awakened by shame. It is awakened by safety, by gentleness, by trust. Ask yourself, what would my day feel like if my inner critic had no voice? Would your shoulders drop? Would your breath deepen? Would your steps soften? Would you give yourself more space to try, to stumble, to grow, without punishment? The critic thrives on speed, on urgency, on unconscious thought. But it cannot survive in mindful space. And the moment you speak with mercy, the critic has no room left to grow. You don't have to argue with it. You don't have to defeat it. You just have to stop listening. Reach for a quieter voice, a truer one. The one that says, "You are trying. You are learning. You are allowed to start again." Lesson 9. Your words can be weapons or wisdom. Choose ye consciously. If your words shape the world around you, would you still speak the way you do? We often forget. It's not only what we say to others, but what we say to ourselves that quietly writes the script of our lives. Your words are not just sounds. They're seeds, they're arrows, they're spells. Every sentence either calms a storm or fuels one. It either stitches a wound or deepens it. Buddhist wisdom reminds us, better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. And that word doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be true. Most people speak on autopilot, reacting, complaining, defending, proving. But your voice? It isn't random. It's a sacred tool. Once released, your words cannot be recalled. They land, and they leave a mark. So mindfulness must not only enter your thoughts, it must enter your speech. Ask yourself, what silent sentences am I feeding my mind? Are they healing me, or quietly hurting me? Try this practice today. Before you speak, pause. Take a single breath, and ask, will this create peace or pressure? Will these words connect or separate? Will they build or bruise? Will they bring clarity or just release my frustration? Even a small remark, a joke, a tone, a sarcastic aside, can echo longer than you know, especially when repeated, especially when unexamined. Are you using your voice to heal or to harm, even subtly? Do you uplift your coworkers or quietly compete with them? Do you speak to yourself with compassion or punish yourself with perfectionism? Words are seeds. Spoken once, they seem small. Spoken daily, they shape identity. They sculpt relationships. They define self-worth. A single kind word can plant confidence that blooms for years, A single harsh one can create doubt that lingers just as long. So today, choose a phrase, a sacred one, something like, "Let my voice be a source of peace. I speak with kindness and clarity. I choose wisdom over reaction." Write it, whisper it, let it live on your breath. Because in a world full of noise, be the one who speaks with clarity. In a world full of wounds, be the one whose words feel like medicine. Remember, someone is always listening, especially you. Let your words become your wisdom, not your regret. Because one word that brings peace is worth more than 1,000 that do not. Lesson 10. You're either a slave to circumstances or a master of mentality. Are you reacting to life or responding to it with clarity? There's a difference, a silent one, but it changes everything. Because life will test you. The world will shift beneath your feet. Delays will come. Plans will fall apart. People will disappoint. But the one thing you always control is this, your response. You are either a slave to circumstances or a master of your mentality. This doesn't mean controlling the chaos. It means choosing how you show up in it. Will you panic or pause? Will you lash out or lean in? Will you crumble or center? Your power isn't in preventing the storm. It's in learning how to stand in it without becoming it. The reactive mind is like dry leaves in the wind, tossed by every change, burned by every spark. But the mindful mind, that is rooted. It feels the winds, but it does not forget the ground beneath it. So ask yourself in any situation, am I reacting or responding? Reaction is automatic. It's unconscious. It's fear in disguise. Response is choiceful. It's intentional. It's clarity in motion. And the gap between the two is a breath, just one breath. That's all it takes to shift. Try this. When something frustrates you, pause. When someone disappoints you, pause. When your day falls apart, pause. Ask, what is the most grounded response I can offer myself right now? That's mastery, not the absence of chaos, but the presence of peace in the middle of it. Being a master of mentality doesn't mean you never feel sadness, anger, or doubt. It means you don't let those feelings make your decisions. You feel, you breathe, you choose. That is the quiet, unshakable strength the world desperately needs. So tomorrow, when life tests you, as it always will, don't just react. Respond. Respond with wisdom, with breath, with grace. Because that is how you reclaim your power, not by controlling life, but by mastering the one thing life can never take, your inner stance. You cannot control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. That's not just wisdom, it's liberation, because life is the ocean. Some days it whispers, other days it roars, but through it all, you are the captain. Storms may rise, tides may shift, plans may sink. But how you hold the wheel, that's where your power lives. Most people give that power away. A traffic jam decides their mood. A comment defines their confidence. A failure writes their identity. And just like that, without realizing it, they become emotional slaves, tossed by every circumstance, never anchored in their own clarity. But Buddhist philosophy offers another way. It invites you to pause before you react, see before you speak, breathe before you judge. And in that sacred pause between reaction and response, your true mastery is born. This morning, take a breath, deep and slow, and whisper to yourself, I choose how I see this. Let that be your compass, not because you're denying reality, but because you're choosing your relationship with it. The mind is not a sponge, it is a filter. You decide what enters, what stays, what holds meaning. So ask yourself, what recent event drained my peace? And how can I reclaim it? Maybe someone hurt you. Maybe life didn't go as planned. But the true disruption wasn't the event itself. It was the story you told yourself afterward. That's where your power lives. That's the space where freedom begins. Instead of, "This ruined my day," say, "This invited me to grow." Instead of, "I'm stuck," say, "I'm learning how to move differently." This isn't delusion, it's conscious evolution. You don't need a perfect life to feel peace. You need a peaceful lens to face imperfection. That is mental mastery, not through control, but through clarity, not through force, but through presence. So when you wake tomorrow and the winds shift without warning, pause. Don't surrender your peace so easily. Hold it like sacred fire. Lead your thoughts like a wise captain, not because the sea is calm, but because you are. The storms will come, but they do not get to write your story. That pen is in your hand, so say it clearly. I am not a slave to circumstances. I am a master of mentality, and then live like it, because while the wind may shift, you can always adjust your sails. Lesson 11. One morning can change everything. What if you stopped waiting for timing and simply chose now? Not tomorrow, not when life calms down, not when you finally feel ready, just this breath, just this morning. Because here's the sacred truth. One morning can change everything. You don't need a new year. You don't need a grand plan. You don't need a perfect version of yourself. You need one quiet decision. One sunrise of courage. One breath that whispers, "I begin today." We spend so much of our lives in waiting, waiting to heal, waiting to be inspired, waiting for the right moment. But Buddhist wisdom gently interrupts. The trouble is, you think you have time. It may sound heavy, but it's actually a gift. A wake-up call dressed in truth. Because it reminds you, the only moment you truly own is this one. And you don't have to climb the whole mountain today. You just need to take the first step. Think of your coldest emotional winter. Those nights of loneliness, regret, doubt. Now imagine a sunrise, soft, quiet, no announcements, just light, arriving. That's how real change begins, not with a bang, but with a breath, not with force, but with willingness. The moment you stop demanding the world change first and choose to lead from the inside out, everything begins to shift. So tomorrow morning, stand in the light, even if it's just through your window, and speak your truth aloud. Everything can shift today. Let that be your mantra, not because the world will suddenly obey, but because you will. You'll walk differently, speak intentionally, choose peace over pressure, action over avoidance. That's how momentum begins. Quietly, powerfully, intentionally. Ask yourself, what if today becomes the morning I always remember? Not because life sent a sign, but because I stopped waiting for one. Maybe today is the morning you stop questioning your worth. Maybe it's the morning you forgive yourself. Maybe it's the morning you finally show up for your own life, fully, tenderly, and now. Buddhist practice always brings us back to the present, not as a cliché, but as a spiritual strategy, because everything you are searching for, peace, clarity, direction, lives in the breath you're taking right now. One morning can change everything. The past is memory, the future is imagination, but now, this moment, is real. And in this moment, you can begin again, again, and again, and again. Not someday, this day, no matter how far you've wandered, no matter how long you've delayed. This morning is an invitation to return with gentleness, to choose differently, to begin again. Not with pressure, but with peace. Because sometimes the smallest decision to rise, to breathe, to believe, is the one that rewrites your entire story. Bonus lesson. The first words I say are the seeds I plant. What silent sentence have you been starting your day with, and is it still serving you? Your morning voice is not just sound. It is seed, a beginning that shapes the mood, the momentum, the meaning of your day. Yet most people wake up and unknowingly plant stress, with complaints, comparisons, deadlines. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us, what you water grows. If your first words are of fear, fear grows. If they're of gratitude, gratitude grows. If they're of calm, calm expands. Your morning is a silent prayer. Spoken or not, it sets the rhythm. Like the first note of a song, it decides the key for all that follows. This is not about being perfect. It's about being present. Before reaching for your phone, before the world speaks to you, speak to yourself. Say, may today be filled with peace and presence. Not because it will be easy, but because I will meet it calmly. That one phrase becomes your incense, fragrance over smoke, centering, not scattering. Ask yourself each morning, what kind of inner garden am I growing? Are you planting thorns or blossoms, hope or habit, peace or pressure? You don't need 100 affirmations. You just need one true sentence, spoken slowly, with love. Let it begin there. Let it begin gently. Because when your first voice is kind, peace is no longer something you chase. It's something you carry. Quick summary of principles. Each morning is sacred, not just a new day, but a new life. Treat it that way. Begin with calm intention. Before the world intrudes, anchor your own emotional tone. The present moment is power. It is your only point of choice, of peace, of truth. You don't need to feel motivated. You need to be mindful. One small step is enough. Words are seeds. Choose them with care, especially your first words each day. Peace is planted, not pursued, and it grows in the soil of repetition, not perfection. You are more powerful than your doubt. Every breath, every decision is a vote for who you're becoming. 12 truths to awaken with. I am in control of my thoughts. They are not in control of me. My mind is like a muscle. It can be trained. When I observe thoughts without reacting, I reclaim my peace. I deserve peace, happiness, and success. Simply because I exist, I am worthy. Not for what I achieve, but because of who I am. I release the need for external validation. My worth rises naturally. I will take action, even if it's small. Progress is not about speed, it's about movement. One mindful step creates momentum, clarity, and confidence. My morning words shape my entire day. The language I choose after waking becomes my emotional compass. Speak with intention. Your energy will follow. My mind believes what I tell it repeatedly. Repetition rewires, so I speak words that nourish, not diminish. I silence the inner critic before it speaks. My first thoughts are compassionate, not critical. Emotional safety begins within. My words can be weapons or wisdom. I choose consciously. Even self-talk shapes my reality. Clarity and compassion lead to powerful communication. I'm not a slave to circumstances. I'm a master of mentality. Life is unpredictable, but how I interpret it is within my control. I respond with wisdom, not emotion, and peace follows. One morning can change everything. I don't wait for the perfect moment. I create one. A single intentional morning can ripple into lasting transformation. The first words I say are the seeds I plant. Each phrase is a spiritual seed. Begin with clarity, presence, and purpose. A mindful life starts in the first minute. As the world rushes to chase more, I rise from within. These are not just affirmations. They are inner vows, gentle weapons against chaos. Daily reminders that peace begins before my feet touch the floor. When I speak with clarity, believe with softness, and act with stillness, something shifts. I stop reacting. I start living in rhythm, with myself, with truth, with now. Because when the mind is quiet, the world becomes clear. So tomorrow, don't just wake up, awaken. Which of these 12 truths will you carry as your silent mantra tomorrow morning? Drop it in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe to Insightful Journey for more timeless Buddhist insights on living a peaceful life.